Welcome into the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch NFL edition. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner, joined by A underscore Schnicker. Um, we are going to address the best bet situation at some point in this episode. I am wearing a Titans t-shirt. If you're watching us live on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, leave a 5-star review and leave a comment or a question. Good for the search rankings. But don't call me a tout scammer. That's not cool. I found one of those comments actually. And
Where?
then on I believe it's on Apple. But anyway, thank you. And I can't reply, so it's very disappointing. But
Uh,
also, if you want to, I guess, leave some 5-star reviews or just subscribe to the YouTube, you can do that at the real underscore G Warner or the Instagram if you want to see our best bet videos that we're not going to reference. Well, I'm wearing a Titan shirt because I've yet to win a best bet this season, and I'm in solidarity with Cam. We're just really the entire Titans organization. I got to say at this point, it's not been a great start to the year. I do feel like Cam Ward called his team a part of his body part, and I feel similarly with my best bet so far. Andrew Schnicker's best bets have been much better. They just can't seem to get across the finish line. But
yeah.
we'll address that in a little bit because we do have some games to discuss. One that talks about Andrew Schnicker's best bet. So we're gonna do Thursday night football, Sunday night football, a single Monday night, and then we'll have a lot to talk about. I guess we do have a London game as well.
hmm
So we'll start. Andrew Schnicker, how are you on this fine last day of September?
Oh, I'm doing great. Should I just go ahead and start referring to you as tout scammer in my texts? Hello, tout scammer.
I was gonna get it tattooed on my forehead, but I figured
That's a little too on the nose.
that might, yeah, it would be on the forehead technically. But yes,
Ah,
I agree. That was a nice one to read. 1-star review, thank you. 1-star reviews, if you're gonna leave a 1-star, not worth it. I think he was
yeah.
mad about my record, but I try to update my record as soon as I watch the games. I just watch them all, so it might be a little delayed, but I update them. And if you remember my Patreon, patreon.com/real_Warner, you'll see the laundry list I have from his entire Major League Baseball season. You want the records, you got the records. But we'll start with some other records. San Francisco 49ers knocked me
Yep.
out of all my Survivor leagues. Thank you for an incredible turnover margin loss, which led to another loss because that's what happens when you turn the ball over in the NFL. Well, they're 6.5 point underdogs now suddenly in Los Angeles to LA Rams. Total in this one is 46.5, and we've had some movement here. Number was 3, then got to 3.5, now it's up to 6.5, and the total's dropped to 46.5. So it sounds like a lot of market believing in the LA Rams, a lot of market not believing in the San Francisco 49ers offense right now. What do you say to that, Andrew Schnicker? And if you want to recap what should have been a winning best bet, if not for Adonai Mitchell last weekend, then you can do that.
Oh, well, I actually have a really good relationship betting on the Rams or betting against the Rams. Like I feel like that's one of the teams that I have a pretty good eye on or can peg pretty well. But apparently the bad beats and the tough situations are just following me with that. Bet on them with the Eagles and then bet against them last week. And AD Mitchell, man, that was just like it was such a great play, and then the end, just like, oh no, what are you doing, man?
I don't think he was trying to celebrate.
No, I don't either. Like that was just like I felt bad because it was like, oh man, that was epic. And then yeah, so and then of course Rams get that huge, explosive play touchdown at the very end when they really were tied. And, I actually still felt good going into that drive that, they're going to
Kick a
go
field
down and
goal and you
settle for the
cover.
field goal. And
Yeah.
my 3.5 was going to be great. Okay. So I actually did not see this line move the 3 points until like we just started talking. And then I started Googling some things. And I guess this is the market taking a stand on Brock Purdy's availability, potentially even taking a stand on some of the wide receivers for the 49ers not being able to play. And Purdy obviously been out for 2 or 3 weeks. Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall have been kind of game time decisions each week, and they've had the full week to recover or get ready. So I'm wondering if the market is saying, okay, look, let's. The last thing I saw was like Purdy said that he's not sure. He's hopeful he can play. He's not ruled out. Um, Again, we're recording this Tuesday night.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if like this is either inside information or if it's like the market saying, okay, well, I'm going to grab the Rams because if it is Mac Jones,
But we don't even know if it's Mac Jones,
we
do
don't know
we?
because right, he's not even healthy. So that's where. I think actually like that makes a lot of sense. If you're really not sure, like go ahead and grab the Rams at that price, um, and see what you do with it. Whether when the players are ruled in or ruled out. What do you think?
So Mac Jones listed as a full participant at this 49ers walkthrough on Tuesday. So
Yeah,
that literally could mean nothing. And there's
right.
nothing that we can really go off of. But I think there's probably some speculators in the market that think that if both Brock Purdy and Mac Jones are ruled out, who the heck is going to quarterback for the 49ers? Um, Ricky Pearsall, I know, left, returned, and then left. So
Yeah,
they're a hurt team that keeps getting more hurt. I would think this is a good bounce back spot for San Francisco, considering
yeah.
they recovered only one of their three fumbles. Jacksonville, of course, recovered their only fumble, and then also threw two interceptions. Did Brock Purdy to lose a turnover battle by five and loses the game by five as well.
And there's a punt return touchdown as well.
And a punt return
So
touchdown after Kendrick Bourne dropped a wide open 3rd and 14 that hit him right in the hands, 20 yards down the field. I mean, that felt like one of the. I've had some miraculous wins this year. I've had some horrible losses. We'll get to the Raiders, hopefully never. But I think at this point, the markets clearly don't. I mean, it's so weird to see this because the Niners, I feel like, I mean, they were a favorite in Seattle for week one, if I remember correctly. They were a slight favorite against the Cardinals at home, but they're playing everyone in the West, that's for sure. And to me, I think we haven't seen a number 6.5. Like, I can't even think of a Rams 49ers in LA type of favorite. There's probably more 49ers fans there. At seven, it's gonna be hard for me to look away because I feel like the zigzag of the NBA playoffs are back. And
yeah,
I mean, if there's ever a time Niners are still 3-1, that loss is gonna look horrible and it might be one of the more surprising ones later in the season when we look back at it. But I mean, if they have no quarterback, then it's a quarterback league, so we
yeah.
don't have much to do here. I think we probably have said what we can until we have injury reports, but was
So
going to be a great Thursday night game until now. We don't know who's going to actually say hut hut hike.
and I do want to at least look at the Rams. I think the Rams are awesome. Stafford and what for the fantasy implications, Puka Nakua and even Devonte Adams to a certain extent, they've been excellent. So there's certainly if you're going to back a team in this situation against the 49ers, like this is the one to do it because they've been right there. I think with the Eagles in terms of like the best in the NFC.
I mean, we
Um,
saw the market bet the Rams at the Eagles in an
yeah,
early start, basically hand over fist, and never really relented on a number
yeah,
that stayed 3.5, I think, for a full week. Dipped to three for a little bit and might have come back, but with heavy juice and such. But I
yeah.
think you're right. The Rams are beloved right now, and they deserve it because they have one of the best coaches in all of professional sports, or you could certainly argue the NFL. So move to Sunday, early start in London this time, not in Dublin. But the Vikings played so poorly, they kept them over there, I guess. Vikings, no matter what, 3.5 point favorites in this neutral site. Certainly their body clocks are a little bit more acclimated than the Cleveland Browns, who are traveling overseas. Total in this one is a meager 36. And the look ahead numbers Minnesota minus 4.5 last week, total at 38.5. So we've lost 2.5 points in the total and 1 point on the side. Who's going to be the better quarterback in this one?
Oh, well, I think the what leads to the who's being the better quarterback is who is healthy for the Vikings on the offensive line. Their center missed a portion of the Steelers game. I don't know if he's going to be back for that. They've just been just crushed on the offensive line with injuries early
And we
part of the
saw
year.
last year when they lost their left tackle how everything went to hell in a
Yeah,
handbasket.
and Cam Robinson gave him a little bit of a jump and then fell back into form of not great. Um, so I do, there everything about the handicap of the Vikings staying over there, the body clock, that's all factored into this. I actually do think most teams have figured out the travel situation. It's like you don't even let your body acclimate to it if you're just going for one game. Like you practice Thursday or Friday and you fly over, and then it's like you're just there quickly and you come right back instead of practicing the whole week. Um, but I do think it helps the Vikings to have this kind of consistency where it's basically just like on a 2 week road trip and they're getting to be in another country. Um,
Yep.
but like fundamentally, the handicap wise, like if the Vikings offensive line, the Browns defense is going to be able to harass Carson Wentz quite a bit. Whether it's everyone's calling for Joe Flacco to be benched, and who you're going Dylan Gabriel, okay, cool, awesome. I don't know what you think you have there. Um, but like matchup wise, I am more the 36 makes sense. Like I see that in total and be like, yeah. And I also think we could look at stats and say, when you have a total in the 30s, even high 30s, it often like it still goes under. Um, because like, it's we could see one of the cliche really bad European games from years past. Because I thought Sunday's game was pretty good.
Okay, so I'd like to know your opinion on the Cleveland Browns as of today.
Um, I think they're probably better than most people assume. Just like in terms of the market, I think their defense is top seven, top eight, and just terms of like solid, consistent, high floor. And then Joe Flacco is literally every week. Um, you don't know. It's unpredictable, volatile. It's probably the best way for it.
Yeah, because to me, there's seems to be a lot of love for the Cleveland Browns defense, but they can't score points, or they can, but it's unlikely. You'd rather have your offense doing it. And I don't really know what the quarterback answer is, but it seems like every time I want to get close to betting the Browns, I wonder how they're going to score points offensively, and I don't know
Yeah.
how that's going to happen, and that's a big concern for me. Um, I don't know if 3.5 points on a home not a home favorite. If a body clock being over in Europe for a little bit longer is worth 3.5 points, that feels
Mhm.
really high to me. Um, Clearly, we've already lost a point from an opening number, but I don't really know how you could lay points to the Vikings right now based on what we've seen. And fortunately, I think we were
Yeah.
talking about it on Sunday about potentially backing the Vikings, and then I kind of came around to the realization that if I am betting this, I am betting Carson Wentz against Aaron Rodgers. And while I haven't liked Aaron Rodgers for years, he seems to at least have some confidence in his ability, arm, history, all these sort of things that Carson Wentz can only dream of. So that's one thing you need to think of if you're waking up early, wherever you are in the United States, to back Carson Wentz, the 3.5 point favorite. I cannot see myself doing that. So it'll be Browns for me or nothing. And I think under is so obvious, but it's such a low total that to your point, yes, it probably still can go under, but there is so little margin for error, especially with these kickoff rules where
Mhm.
basically every kickoff you're almost in field goal range. Maybe it's a little different in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or Wembley or wherever they're playing this one, but
Not
I
a lot
don't
of good.
know.
There's not a lot of quality kicks that happen in that stadium.
Yeah, I feel like it's too wet of a pitch because they water it throughout the entire match and at halftime, I think.
It's slick.
So that's why it is. We'll move to Sunday, and then we'll come back, or then we'll do Monday night, and then we'll come back to some Sunday games. So skipping all the way to Sunday Night Football, the biggest game of the week apparently. The New England Patriots 7.5 point underdogs on the road at Buffalo. Total in this one is 49.5. Of course, the Patriots kind of put it all together as soon as I got off their bandwagon last weekend. But we saw this number as high as 10 and look at numbers down to 9.5 for kickoffs on Sunday. And we've been hanging at 7.5. Totals at 49.5. It's climbed a point. What say you on Mac Jones in division? Nope, Mac Jones has moved on. Excuse me. Drake maybe in division, moving on to Buffalo, who I think you could argue struggled with the New Orleans Saints last weekend.
Oh yeah, I think they did. And yeah, part of my hesitance or being hesitant on the Buffalo Bills this year is just like their defense has not looked didn't look good, and I expected it to not look very good. And um, the first couple of weeks, well, I guess the Ravens game was rough, and then they played better. Um, but yeah, what's NBC doing here? I don't, and I want to get down to the handicap, but it's just like two out of the last 3 weeks of just
I
really,
mean, that Chiefs Giants game was horrible. The
yeah, like
execution in overtime of the Packers Cowboys game made us look like no one had any idea what the rules were. But I guess
I
that was good for ratings, and that was a no-brainer. I wonder if
I think
there's like some sort of draft that's changed where Sunday Night Football was getting too good at games, and Fox or CBS said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa,
what
whoa!
are we
They can't
doing
have
here?
first
Yeah,
choice every time."
I don't know. And yes, you're right. Like the Packers were playing that game as if they had another quarter. Like they could have ran at least seven more plays, and it was incredible what was happening in that
They were
drive.
so
Like
afraid to give Cowboys the ball back. Like, are you kidding
I
me? Like,
guess, or just like go score. You scored a touchdown in like four straight possessions. Just go do the same thing.
no. Let's run some
Um,
bubble screens. Okay, back to the
okay,
Patriots, 7.5 point
all right.
underdogs, total
Let's
49
look
and a
at
half
this.
at
Let's look
Buffalo.
at this like fundamentally.
Yeah.
It's a division game. It's at Buffalo. I like how okay, so I would still put the Patriots and Dolphins what, even on a neutral field?
I mean, after that dominant effort last night, geez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I'm
the
sorry. I'm
Bills
sorry I
can't
talked
be
you out
that
of that, but
the Bills just can't be that strong. It's fine. I after going 4 to 12 in turnover ratio this weekend, so -8.
mhm,
I couldn't handle, and Tua still looks bad to me. But
it's rough.
anyway, um,
Um,
I do wonder if this is the Patriots being in division, if that, I mean, this is their toughest game, I think, the Bills.
yeah.
Though the Bills struggled with the Dolphins a few weeks ago on Thursday Night Football in a shorter week and were 12-point favorites or so.
Yeah.
So now we're saying the Patriots are this much better than the Dolphins based on a blowout of Carolina. Like
It's a 4 point
these numbers are
difference.
really confusing to me
It's
across
it
a lot of these games, and maybe that's why I'm not off well, I basically fell off the wagon of an incredible start, and I've gone completely the other direction now,
yeah, so it's just saying that the Patriots are 4 points better on a neutral field than the Dolphins. Um,
which
but
we
now
know is
granted, like
not the case. We know that's
looking
not
at
true.
like 7.5 is the key number. There, 8, 9, not as much to do with that. But everyone, if anyone that's going to still be doing teasers, like you're going to be taking the Bills, like do a 6.5 at 125. Um, so it's just weird to me. Yeah, like because the defense did not look very good. So, and then are we going to see a signature like Vrabel? Has he like been able to put his stamp on the defense to a point where he can actually contain a high-powered offense? I mean, you just look back to like what he did with the Chiefs a few years back. Like, it's total speculation and like wish casting.
I think we've got to see a lot more from Mike Vrabel
I agree.
before this team is anything more than the 4-13 team they were last season.
Yeah,
Which
totally agree.
coincidentally, of that 4-13, definitely 2-0 against the spread against the Bills with a 7-point win on the last day when no one wanted to win because that was going to cost them the number one pick. Nice job, Gerard Mayo. Nice little to Bob Kraft as he got out of there. You don't kiss me on the lips. I win games that you don't want to win then. And
That's
then
right.
also the Pats played a really close game uh, on the road at Buffalo 2 weeks before that, and great
Okay.
scheduling by the NFL, and then proceeded to go 3-point loss to the Bills, then at home lost 40-7 to the Chargers. I know I got caught up in that little bear trap.
Okay. So
Um,
what we're saying here is that maybe the Patriots can play up to the Bills. Is
I
that
wonder the Bills are in such a bad division that
yeah?
I don't know what we can trust from them. They've struggled with the New Orleans Saints, who literally got boat raced by Seattle from the jump, from the first kickoff. And like I don't know that we've seen really that. I mean, that big win over the Ravens looks pretty bad right
Is
now from a
looking
huge
worse.
deficit too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like I don't know if the Patriots are the team to expose the Buffalo Bills, but it still looks like a lot of Josh Allen and he can take a lot of hits, but that's
They've
about all they got.
they're 4 wins. So they're 4-0, obviously. They're the teams that they've played have a combined 2 wins. So the Ravens 1-3, Jets 0-4, Dolphins 1-3, Saints 0-4. Like it's a cakewalk of a start to the season. So yeah, I think I and this is not to say like, oh, we're gonna be on the Patriots Sunday night. Um, this is to say like let's wait and see. Let's bide our time here to see when we can potentially
All right, where do you think
take
this
advantage
number's
of it.
closing? We had
Where's the number
nine and a half.
closing? I don't think it's
We
going to
had
move.
10, then 9.5, and it's fallen to 7.5. Are we going down towards 7 or up
No,
towards
I don't think it's
10?
going to. I think it maybe goes up to 8, 8.5, because then you're. I don't, but I don't. I think it's just going to stay in this no man's land for a while because
I think we see
teams
a
are.
lot of Sunday night action on the Bills because they're
Yeah, but like
4-0.
we said, we
Everyone
saw the
loves
same
Josh
thing.
Allen.
I guess we saw the same thing with like the Cowboys Packers. It was sitting at 6.5 that whole time. Everybody is in love with what the Packers have been doing before. It's just going to be a blowout, and granted, like some weird events happened there to make that such a game.
Yeah.
but but still, like I mean, it didn't move. I was waiting for it to get 7 because then I was like, okay, give me the Cowboys here. Um, but it didn't get there. I don't know. I feel like we're going to see the same thing.
Maybe so. I think the 6.5 to 7 seems a little bit more valuable than 7.5 to 8, but I think
Yeah,
we
no,
can.
you're right. I mean, like, I don't think we're gonna see a flat 7 or a 6.5 on the
Right.
Bills.
I think we're going to see this climb back up. Bill's money is going to hit because people are going to be like, wait, we're betting Mike Vrabel on a 4-13 team. He doesn't have Derrick Henry running for him. We'll move to Monday
True.
now. The Kansas City Chiefs, my lone positive, really ruined actually my stats for this weekend. Instead of 2-12, it was 4-12 in turnover margin. Um, the Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Total is 46.5 in this one. And we saw this number as low as 3, but I actually didn't see another number until after the Sunday games kicked off and the lines reappeared. Still was 3 and then climbed to 3.5. Total was as low as 44.5, now 2 points higher, 46.5. Are you, A_Schnicker, a believer in the Jacksonville Jaguars? They're 3-1 for anyone who
They
wasn't
are
paying.
3-1. Um, I think they're better. You are what your record says you are, right? Isn't that what the whole thing is? You just take it as what that's the record, and that means that they're that good. Um,
I think
I
the
think
NFL
there's
coaches that say that are all, unfortunately, like Denny Green's no longer with us. Like, there's a lot of guys
I
that are out
know.
there that aren't
Don't we
around
don't have to
anymore.
say it, but yes, you're right. Like most of the guys that believe that
They were
were
true
like
football guys, and
we're peaking
unfortunately,
in the 90s.
they played without their helmets, I think.
Uh, yeah. Um, I think that they're better. Um, I think that
I have some bad memories of backing the Jaguars against the Kansas City Chiefs when they didn't look so good at home a few years ago on a Sunday afternoon, and it just never. It seemed like the Jags were always behind just from the get go, from the jump, and then weren't able to. Were close, but never really were able to get back in there. Now we see the Chiefs, who all of a sudden have a very well educated Xavier Worthy back in the roster, and he was used way more than I expected, even with a big lead, like still putting his shoulder out there to get hits. I was like shocked by that. But
yeah.
Hollywood Brown now is not as important, which is probably better for the Chiefs. We saw Travis Kelsey using his walker out there, so like I mean, there was a lot to say, to see, and to say. But maybe that was the Ravens and the Jaguars have been turning the ball over the opponents over a lot. They've
Yeah.
got a really stellar offensive coordinator who came up from Tampa Bay. Tampa doesn't seem to be missing a lot of elements, just missing bodies, it seems, because everyone's hurt. But we're basically, if we're taking the Jags here, 3.5 point underdogs, yes, they could lose by 3-2-1. They could, I guess, apparently tie 40-40. But to me, you're backing a changeover to a really offensive coach who's not getting great offense and seems to be winning the turnover battle over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, like the main, these coaches come from either an offensive, defensive background, and what I want to see is the team when they become a head coach, that team takes over their identity. Whether they are elite on offense, they stay elite. And we're only 5 weeks into 4 weeks into this Liam Cohen deal, so I think it's too early to say that. But all that, like, there's a lot of implementation. I think we're seeing a similar deal with Ben Johnson in Chicago, where they're still like just trying to implement the game plan, implement like a rhythm, a flow to their offense. So like that, I think that's still real, even though they've been practicing now and preparing for 9-10 weeks, heading into for the season. Um, I feel like in this situation, I've backed the Jags before, and you're probably getting them at a lower price. Maybe, I don't know. After the Chiefs beat the Ravens, it's probably about right. I've just seen this game play out before. I've taken the Jags, and then I see the Chiefs win by 6, and I'm like, what am I doing each time? Um, like, are the Chiefs the team that's going to turn the ball over? Like, are they going to fall into this trap? It's a night game. Florida weather is usually a deal, but it's a night game, like, so the humidity will be less, not completely gone. Um, yeah, the
If
Chiefs
you're
to me,
betting
like,
the Chiefs to turn the ball over, I think you've been losing that bet for
well,
as
that's
long
yeah,
as
like
Patrick Mahomes has been starting at quarterback. So I feel like one thing he's had, of course, some lapses, of course, but I do think that's one of his best qualities is he's impossible to get off the field. One of the easiest ways to do that is find turnovers, and he doesn't seem to do it. I don't know that I can trust Trevor Lawrence as far as he can
no,
throw the ball just off target to Brian Thomas Jr. at this point. And so I don't know, like, number feels honestly really snug to me. Like, I'm not a road favorites player, but I feel like there
yeah,
should be more in it. And the Chiefs, while you could argue, oh, no one believes in the Chiefs like they didn't last year, they're small favorites at home forever and ever and ever as they made the road to the Super Bowl. But for the amount of money that's been won on the Chiefs over the years, I'm surprised. And BetOnline has this very juice to Jacksonville plus 3.5. Maybe based on an initial -3 that they probably saw a fair amount of Chiefs bets, but I didn't see it move. And I was
Yeah.
watching these numbers and the look ahead. So I feel like there's a lot of respect for Jacksonville. This number, I don't know that I agree that there should be that much. Is kind of where I'm coming from. So now we've gone through had the stay by themselves type of whatever those names are of games.
Standalone games. Yep.
Standalone. Thank you. Saw a very fake lipped woman in the LA Dodgers crowd. It threw me off for a second. Those things are my
Wait,
new.
am I behind you? I wanted to no. No.
They're my new battlefield, I think. I'm streaming
Oh,
forever, so I'm always behind. But
oh
and
yeah.
especially good when
You should pay attention in just a second.
well, especially good when my iPad is in front of the streaming device that I have and I'm like, "Wait, how is this iPad getting the internet faster than all my actual televisions that are designed to stream this thing?" But no one cares about that. So we've gone through, oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, that was a sweeper. Mr. Phillips, you might not want to throw that, but
Yeah.
at least this game's already been over for a minute. Where would you like to go on Sunday? Because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like to pass the buck across to A_Snicker.
I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's discuss Bucks Seahawks. A little bit of an audible, but 2-3-1 teams.
Yeah, I think they're both good. I learned the hard way from the Seahawks on Thursday night that
Yeah.
they were not so bad defensively and almost dropped them for I forget who. I think it was the Patriots. So that would have been a good move in one of my fantasy leagues. But Seattle seems worth holding, I got to say, because they annihilated the Arizona Cardinals until the offense just turned off and let them come back. And I don't know what to say because betting on Kyler Murray just seems to never go well for me. Betting against him, he runs like the tiny hamster that he is. But I mean, and bringing him back to tie the game was impressive. But
Yeah.
by playing on Thursday night, they had extra rest. The Bucks had a huge comeback, didn't allow a single completion in the second half apparently, but still were too far behind to and ended up losing. Thanks a lot, I think, to a Baker Mayfield interception as they're going in to tie the game. But the Seahawks 3.5 point favorites totals 44.5. I still think giving the Bucks more than a possession or more than a field goal is a gigantic number, no matter if they're playing on Mars and they're
Yeah.
playing the hometown Martians. I still think there's some questions for me about Sam Darnold and how he's working in Seattle. I know he loves one of the Kubiak's nepotism hire, whatever that happened there,
Yeah,
but
it's good. Good for the running game.
But Ken Walker and Charbonnet seem like a pretty good tandem. The Bucks are extremely injured still, as far as I know, but they seem to just find guys. Ibuka's been great, and Bucky Irving's open on swing passes for 75 yards if Mike Evans can't be there taking up space.
Yeah, we need to take a look at Bucky Irving. He was having like his knee looked at.
Well, if he goes down, then my 1-3 fantasy league in our
A
fraternity is
lower leg
literally dead.
injury.
Yeah, that's never
Gathering
good.
medical opinions. This is the Google AI summary. Bucky Irving gathering opinions on his knee. Wait, no, ankle or foot? Oh, AI, you're really messing me up here.
Nice job, AI.
Week five status up in the air.
So the Bucks were +2 in look ahead numbers. Total is 44.5.
Yeah.
Same total. It dipped to 44, came back to 44.5, but we've climbed across 3 to 3.5. That's pretty significant, I think, even if it is
Yeah.
early money. And that's
Yeah.
probably got a lot to do with it because I think someone I heard Bucky Irving is the best running back in football. And I was like, whoa, that seems a little extreme. But it might be true because he was
Could be true.
awesome end of last
He's
year and
really
has
good.
been great this year too.
So here's what like the home field advantage there is pretty elite. I would give it the full where are we at 2.25 now. That's where I'm at. Um, that's my full. That's max that I would ever give somebody.
I'm
Um,
teeter-tottering on moving from 2 to 1.5, I think.
Phew. Okay. We're also talking about complete east to west coast, a little bit different, but it's still like body clock of 3 time zones.
Yeah. Travel
So
for
these are all
sure.
like the little basics, the little things that you're going to consider. I think we got to look at what happens with Bucky Irving because they are so depleted. There's only so long like they can keep this up. Like they're, you know, and
I
like
mean,
I agree. Like
Chris Godwin looked like he was running
He's
in mud last week. So
man, like I'm. It's impressive he's already back, but yeah, it's going to take him
I
a
wonder
while
if it
to
was just like we got nobody else. You're going out there, no matter
go
if the
for it,
doctor
man.
cleared you or not, you signed the
Well, they
dotted line.
and they gave him like 10 targets. Like it wasn't even like, hey, we're going to ease you back in. I agree with you. Watched the Seattle game. We had conversations, um, and that I think what they showed was was pretty impressive. And the defensive line, I will eat my words, they looked really, really good. Although we may want to check some injuries there too. Demarcus Lawrence missed the second half.
I mean, he looked
Um,
like he missed the after the first drive. I feel like they were
yeah,
already.
you're
I
right.
was like,
It was
"Who's
earlier
that?
than
He
that.
looks familiar." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, he's a Dallas
Yeah.
guy. Nice."
Um,
They didn't keep
so
him
yeah,
either.
so yeah, like they've had extra rest. I think this might be one of those where you're like, huh, interesting. You're telling me I can get the Bucks who've looked really good plus 3.5. Uh, Kind of feels suspicious a little bit,
You think
but
it's
we'll
too
see.
big
We'll
of
see
a
where this
number,
goes.
aka the Seahawks, after getting bet to a favorite in Arizona? You think they're unsuspiciously expensive right now, the Seahawks, because a lot of people believe in them, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Okay, for my game, I'd like to discuss the Dallas Cowboys are 2.5 point favorites at the New York Jets. Total is 47. So I live in Dallas. Andrew Schwarzenegger
Yeah,
used to live in Dallas, and still supports the Cows, as they're called here, not the Boys. As if before you lived in Dallas, you might think it was called the Boys. It's actually called the Cows.
no, it's
But
Cal.
but I don't really know what to do with this team right now because there's a lot of people here that are like, we're just going to win games 40 to 40. And, they certainly do
That's not how
against,
you win a game.
well, they do against the spread. But
You're
now we
right.
saw the Jets, who looked absolutely horrible besides the busted fourth down play that Justin Fields decided, I'm just going to do my own thing and score a touchdown here, which I feel like they should just do all the time. But the Cowboys are 2.5 point favorites, need to go to the Meadowlands, or formerly to MetLife, where everyone rips their ACLs. Sorry to
Yeah.
Mr. Neighbors. But total 47 in this one, and that I think assumes a competent New York Jets offense. But like the Cowboys, I mean, no CeeDee Lamb, I don't expect. They're 2.5 point
No.
favorites on the road off of a tie.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how
I
I've ever seen someone be like, yeah, I totally believe in this team because they tied a Super Bowl favorite that's looking like they're having problems. Number was initially 1.5 and 46.5, so we've climbed a point on the side and a half a point on the total.
yeah, this is the perfect, oh my gosh, Cowboys game. They're gonna lose it on the road. I think the key though is with Justin Fields. Um, the Cowboys have really struggled to keep mobile quarterbacks in the pocket and to contain those quarterbacks. So there should be some opportunity there for Justin Fields to do what he does best, and that's run the ball. Um, and I'm really impressed with what Dak has become or what he is right now with this offense. Watching him work at the line of scrimmage on Sunday night, even though the Packers defense is clearly struggling and trying to find its identity, it was really, really impressive to watch him pick that apart. And I think, George Pickens is motivated to show it's a contract type year for him. Um, so I think any week you're looking at a Cowboys game, you're going to want to consider the over. That being said, like, is this the place for that on the road? Last road game was a blowout loss to the Bears.
As
Yeah,
a
this
road
is the
favorite, also in that one.
yeah as a road fan, this is like the perfect spot to like fade the Cowboys. And I really do think the Cowboys are a pretty it's better to like there's such a big part of like the national conversation. Um, you actually can get some pretty against the grain narrative type stuff going with the Cowboys because like they're just talked about so often. And this is definitely one of those spots that we've so often year in year out like this is the one to bet against them. I'm not saying I'm going to at this point, but it's certainly like where I'm leaning. It's certainly my lean would be with the Jets plus two
I
and a
mean, the
half.
Jets are so ugly, but I mean, sometimes ugly people they procreate at some point. So, last thing I'll do before we get to our best bets, try to
Oh yeah.
rush this one in here. New York Giants 1 point underdogs now. All the juice on the Saints. Totals 41.
Mm,
What the heck happened here? Giants ruined a lot of survivor plays, which I was so
yeah.
happy I avoided, only to get eliminated later. But the Saints, who've barely had a pulse, then played the Bills pretty tough, but you could argue they were gigantic underdogs, so that made everything look a lot better. Giants, I mean, they were favored at one point. They are not anymore. What do you think about the Saints? Are they Is this their one win this season? Giants were -1.5 at one point, and now they're +1 cross zero.
No, I don't think this is the Saints one win. I thought Jackson Dart played pretty well. And if they're gonna like just have him go all out, like with using his legs as often as he was, I, I'm a fan. I don't understand what the Saints are trying to do. They're like trying to go up tempo with Kellen Moore, yet like they have the worst quarterbacks in the league. Like it doesn't make any sense what we're doing here.
What are
And yet
we
they're just
doing?
it's just like banging their head into the wall, like still going at it. So yeah, I quick handicap. I'll take the Giants again. Let's ride that momentum. It's like they beat the Chargers, a beat up Chargers team. They won. Let's ride that momentum. What do you, I mean? Are you going to go Saints here? Hold your nose and not watch the
I
game?
don't know. I'm scared money at the moment. So let's get to our ultimate best bets, our best bets end of the show. Thank you for all the subscribers on Apple Podcasts and the Spotify, the real underscore G Warner on YouTube and on Instagram. A underscore Snicker, you are yards ahead of me in your best bet winner so far this
Yeah.
season. Where are you going for your best bet on this week 5 episode?
Oh my goodness. It's a rough slate for me, to be honest. I don't know if I love anything particularly, but if we're gonna make a pick on a Tuesday night, this
That's
is
what we
what we're
do.
gonna do.
That's what we do here.
Okay. Let's take the Miami Dolphins on the road, small favorite. Uh, the Panthers are really only good at home, and I'm going against what I just said, but like let's take the Dolphins -1 and don't watch the game. Just make the pick and find a different game to watch.
Speaking of not watching games, let's go Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns under 36 points. No one needs to get up for this game. It's going to be Joe Flacco, hopefully throwing the ball into the ground as opposed to into the other opponent's purple arms. That's my biggest concern. And it might be a little bit easier for the Vikings because they're not playing against an entire Pittsburgh Steelers crowd. Good for them, for everyone leaving. I guess they didn't want to stay in town for the last Pirates game because they knew that was going to be the last time they ever saw Paul Skeens in their uniform. But I think we see a very low scoring game. I am petrified of what the offenses will contribute to the total for the defenses. So that is my biggest concern. But I think when that's my biggest fear, and I think we got two good defenses here, we see a low scoring game, hopefully a lot of slipping, not by defensive backs. And I don't know, that sounds like more interceptions also. But a lot of those things in those sort of directions. But I think we see a low scoring game, 36 at a tiny total. But I think there's really good chance we don't even see any sort of highlights when they go to everyone. There was a game in London today, but we don't need to show you anything from it. That's what I'm hoping for. So go grab the Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns under 36, and the Miami Dolphins a 1 point favorite for Andrew Schwarzenegger's best bet. And we'll be back with you with some winners for next week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Betting the Pitch podcast on NFL podcast on the Betting Pitch Podcast Network.